Hey everybody, welcome back to the Metal Mill 52 workshop. Wanted to use this as my intro and wrap up for my editing. The only other thing I got done this weekend is I did make the dust covers for inside here. I'm glad because now I'm kind of basically done with everything that has to do with the bases. I still need to fiddle with that cotter, split cotter a little bit, but the major machining is done. What remains to be done to the bases is to Loctite the back bar in place, and then of course the thimble is done. We've covered that already. I'm going to wait before I do the Loctiting, so I can I'll probably paint the thing first, and so I can get bring out the finish as it says in the book on both of those. So real happy how the dust covers came out. Just stay tuned and you'll see some brief video clips about how I made those. I made them out of steel. They're 1.5 inches in diameter, and I used 440 screws, button head screws, to hold them on either side. I think they look really nice. I think that's going to be a good addition. So thanks again for joining us. Stay tuned for the detail videos about making those things, and the next thing I tackle, I think it is I'll be working on the lathe on the 4-jaw, so I'll get some videos posted of that sometime soon. Thanks for watching. I'll keep you posted. Okay, this is right off the presses here. It's still hot, ouch. But that's going to work out good. I'll lay it down so I'm not to hold it, but get some felt. I think I have some thin felt that I can use and just put that in there. What I'm going to use, since I haven't drilled and tapped the holes already, the holes that I put in here, you can see I've got them in there. They're deep enough. I made them like 3/4 of an inch deep, and I did that in the mill. And they're the tapping size for the 440 screw. I have some round head 440 screws left over from my locomotive project, so that's going to be perfect. I can transfer the holes with the wherever they need to be, drill the tapping size drill, and then tap the holes, and then I can enlarge these holes. So off to the next step. Since I already have the holes, I already have the 1-inch bore in there. The only thing I got to do now is to put the boring bar back in, bore out the recess. Basically I made that, I was shooting for a 1/16, but I went ahead and made it 70 thou deep, and it just seemed a little better to have that bigger lip. Like I said, I left a 32nd of an inch rim around the outside, and then I cut it off. The overall thickness, I just happened to make this thing is about 135 thou, because I figured the plans call for it to be 1/8 of an inch. So I figured I'd give it another 10 thou in case I wanted to get fancy and file it and sandpaper it, buff it out, so I have a little extra material to play with. So here's the last step of the machining to attach the dust covers for the Quorn base on the left hand side. After I made the bases yesterday, I cleaned them up. There was a little rim. It had to do more than the normal cleanup. I used my Dremel and lightly touched up the inside just to make sure it would clear over this piece of bar that I have, and I kept handy. I used this as an alignment tool for aligning the dust covers in place. As you can see, they'll be on the opposite way. The felt will go inside in the little rim that you see there, but I just thought it'd be a lot easier. What I did is not rocket science. I cleaned all the cast iron and steel pieces with acetone, simple fingernail polish remover. Got them all clean. I used a few dabs of crazy glue, lined up the holes where I wanted them, and I used a little centering jig. Here, let me get this thing out of here and I can show you the jig, because that's kind of cool. It's an idea I got from the Gingrey, building the Gingrey shaper. Even if you don't build one of those things, there's a lot of neat stuff that Mr. Gingrey had involved in, a lot of neat suggestions. So this is one of them. This is kind of basically like a go-no gauge, under 1 inch, and it goes up to 1 inch. There's a slight taper in it. So I use that to align the, it's not clearing drill heads here. Let me pull that out. Use that, to align, do the initial alignment as I was getting ready to put the things in place, and I double checked them with a piece of bed bar. And with crazy glue, it's really simple. Just a little tap on the edge of it will be enough to loosen, to remove these. Remove that. I'll probably demonstrate that in just a second. But just to show you what I did, I lined it up, and then I drilled the tapping size hole for the 440 screws I'm going to use, and then I used the little quill DRO to I drilled the tapping size holes like a 1/2 inch deep. And then I used the quill DRO to drill through the steel. It's about 70 thousandths of an inch, the thickness of the other side of the cover. So I drilled the clearance hole, and then I put the tap in. I put the transmission in neutral and just manually tapped it. So we're good to go there. Let me see if I can loosen that up. Usually only takes a couple of taps. I'm going to do that off camera. I don't want to, as you can see, I'm a little limited mobility here with this splint on my thumb, so I don't want to bang up my steel pieces. But I'll bring you back. I use a similar type of setup like I did for when I machined these things in the first place, just to hold them in place in the Bridgeport vise. So in the next step, I've got it prepared over here. There's my nail polish remover that I use to clean the surfaces. Here's one of the dust covers that's getting ready to be drilled and tapped to put inside on the right hand side. I'll need to take the spring cap cover off here, and then I'll get it all carefully aligned and carry on, and I'll bring you back and show you how that goes.